Good to see you.
Hey, thank you. Andrew, wow, I was telling Chris earlier, this is so cool. I get to bring you all on, which is not, I'm used to you all bringing me on. So for those of you all, Andrew is another one of the gentlemen that works with Podfest. They do such an awesome job. I've learned so much from working with him. He is a ridiculously talented, committed, and amazing person. And I was about to call you young man. I don't, 49, you're not that much younger than me. But anyway, he's a good young man. He's a good boy. Um, but he's an awesome person. And he's going to share with you about creating a contagiously passionate life. I'm going to let him take over the mic and I will pop back in as he is finishing. Thank you so much for joining us today, Andrew.
Of course. No, I'm excited to be here. And hello, everyone. Good to see you. Just to make sure who is all on the chat, feel free to say where you're tuning in from so I get a sense of the geography of everyone and making sure you're all active and you didn't leave your computer or phone somewhere and go for a run. So definitely type in the chat where you're tuning in from. Love to hear from you. Debbie's from DC. Woo! Go Debbie. Represents. And I'm actually in the East Coast of New York right now. I got a white background to try to catch up with Wade and be as cool as Wade. And so trying to do my best to make sure you all get the information you need for today. We got Almega in Orlando, Wade in Naples, Florida, and we have someone tuning in from Denver. Let's see. Oh, Danny tuning in from Denver. So awesome. Good to see everyone. All right. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you the presentation of creating a contagiously passionate life, because that is what I'm sure you all are here for today. And knowing, how do you bring more passion into your life and how do you make it contagious so that other people want to be a part of it? And before I get started, I want to share a very powerful quote that really sparked the passion of my own life. And this quote is by Martin Luther King, and hopefully you all recognize this man. And he said, "If you're not willing to die for something, you don't deserve to live." And I'll say it again just because of how powerful a quote it is. If you're not willing to die for something, you don't deserve to live. And this is such a fantastic quote because it is so easy for us to go through the motions. It is so easy for us to be on autopilot. It's so easy for us to not recognize the beauty of life and how short it is and how much things actually do matter. And if we don't have that passion in our lives in the first place, how can we make that passion contagious? And so as we go through this presentation, I want you to really start thinking about what are these things you're willing to absolutely die for, put your life on the line for, to get your message out there, to have your vision be heard. And I'm actually going to do a workshop style presentation. So I hope everyone has a piece of paper and pen ready to go, or at least a Google Doc notepad, or if you have a pigeon carrier out there somewhere to get the connection that way. Whatever you have ready to go to take notes. I hope everyone's ready because we're going to go through this really quick. And Wade says, "Andrew, we want something that's actionable, that's tangible." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." So first, just so you know where I'm coming from, believe it or not, I did not come out of the womb being a passionate public speaker. I know, very, very hard to believe. This is actually me in 8th grade. I was about 5'2" and 120 pounds. And I did not have a beard. And I actually, the reason why this picture is so significant is because I had a decently happy childhood. My parents got divorced at 8 years old. That was unfortunate. But fast forward to 8th grade, I was president of the student body at my school. I was the starter for the basketball team, and I was a lead role in the school play. And I thought everything was going great. And then I went to a private Catholic school, which is one of the most competitive in the state of Oregon, if not the nation. And I thought, I got this. I'll keep my train running. I'll keep going with this. And I actually got cut from the basketball team, not just the A team, but the B team. I wasn't popular enough to even make the student school government secretary. And when it came to the school musical, I couldn't even make it as a background singer. And so to say that my first year of high school is rough would definitely be an understatement. And I recognize that, you know what, there are two choices in life. you can either let things tear you down, and you can be an egg where once an egg hits the ground, it splatters all over the place. It says, woe is me, everything is awful, everything is bad. Or you could be a bouncy ball where once you hit the ground, you could bounce right back and keep fighting and keep going and bounce higher than before. And I thought, you know what? I want to be someone who bounces back. And so I read the book Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. Highly recommend you check that out. I'm even going to type that in the chat here to make sure everyone can follow along okay. Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. And that book really sparked me and helped me recognize, once again, how important it is to have more enthusiasm, energy for things. And yet I was still holding myself back a little bit. And so fast forward to college, I went to University of Oregon and still had some fun. There I am chilling with an Elvis Presley impersonator. He was showing me his rock and hit moves and being able to have fun there. But I could tell that there's still some missing link in my life. There was still something that I wasn't doing correctly, I was holding back on, and I could definitely improve on. And my moment, my big epiphany actually happened when I was in a fraternity. And the fraternity called is Delta Tau Delta. And believe it or not, we weren't all about partying all the time. And we weren't all about making sure that, that parties were the priority. Delta Tau Delta at the school was known for having good grades, for being involved in school. And my epiphany moment happened when I decided that I wanted to be the social chair of the fraternity, making sure that everyone was having fun throughout the year. And I was going for the position. And at that point, I had a little experience with being in school musicals, with giving presentations. And so here I am, I go up to the stage, I'm all confident and thinking I'm going to do a fantastic job giving this presentation. Of course, they're going to vote for me, no problem. And then I didn't get voted in. And I'm going, well, that's weird. I thought that I thought I did a good job giving a good presentation. And so I was distraught. I was going, geez, I can't even get, I thought I was a good speaker, but I can't even get voted in by my own fraternity. What's going on? And fortunately, one of my fraternity members came up to me and said, Andrew, the reason why we didn't choose you is because you weren't passionate enough. The reason we didn't choose you is because you weren't passionate enough. And that was such a huge light bulb moment for me. It was huge because we tell ourselves in so many different ways, oh, if I don't actually try hard enough, I can never really fail. Oh, if I don't put everything I have into something, then that way I can be able to not take the blame in case it doesn't go my way. And so when he told me that I wasn't passionate enough in my presentation, I thought, you know what? You're right. I wasn't giving it my all. I wasn't having an emotional connection. I was just going through the motions and doing what I was supposed to do besides going all in. And once he taught me that concept of just being passionate about something, going all in, not holding back, that's what really sparked an amazing trajectory for me. And because of that, I actually went on to become president of the club of Toastmasters at the University of Oregon. And by learning this concept of passion, I was actually able to be voted the top public speaker in all Central and Southern Oregon at just 22 years old. And I could tell that the energy and the enthusiasm and the passion that I did bring to the stage, that's why I got voted as that top speaker, because I knew it was more than just going through the motions, making sure that you eliminate filler words, making sure that you use body language, making sure you make eye contact. It's more to that. It's the intangibles. And by adding that extra level of things, that's what helped me to succeed. And then by being voted the top public speaker in all of Central and Southern Oregon, I was able to find my dream job where I got paid to travel around the entire state of Oregon, giving presentations to high school students, inspiring them with entrepreneurship and professional skills, making sure they have the skill sets they need to be successful, and being able to get paid to travel around the entire state of Oregon. And it was an overall great gig. And I'll lead workshops for these students. I teach them public speaking skills. I teach them how to start their own business. And being able to have a dream job out of college was amazing, because there's a study out there that over 65% of people don't like their job. They don't like their career. And so being able to be a part of that 35%, I knew passion was a big part of that. And with that passion, I also went on to run a marathon and be able to survive that. And I also took my passion and wrote a book of bird puns called Two Can Play at This Game, being able to help inspire others to get a good laugh on when it comes to having bird puns and have that creative endeavor happen. And just really recognizing that when you do something, do it well. Don't hold back. And there's another famous author out there who says, if it's not a hell yes, then it's definitely a hell no. Don't live in maybe land. We don't have time to live in maybe land. And so making sure you go all in is definitely essential. And then, of course, for those who might recognize this guy, this is Chris Krimitsos. We were able to put passion into creating a Guinness World Record breaking event called PodFest Global in August 2020. And we were able to serve others and help them find their skill sets and match their passions to make sure they have what they need. And we were able to bring over 5,000 people together, over 350 speakers in August 2020, getting my first ever Guinness World Record. Just this last March, we're pending a Guinness World Record to be another world record ×2 with over 5,800 people, over 500 speakers. And life is just so much more fun when you have more passion, when you have more enthusiasm, and being able to really convey that really shows people want to see it. People want to be a part of that. And so now it's time for you to create your own passion. So now get into this workshop session of the presentation. Hope everyone has their piece of papers and pens ready to go. I'm going to put a quick little timer here because in case you've already done this exercise, it doesn't hurt to do it again and making sure that you can keep reiterating and reminding yourself why you're doing things in the first place. I want you to ask yourself, what fascinated you as a kid? What puts you in awe and wonder and made you go, wow? Was it sports? Was it art? Was it just being able to talk with other friends? One of my first childhood memories actually was having my dad used to own a pizza chain. And one of my first childhood memories was actually being able to come in and share pizza with everyone. And that just brought me so much joy because I love food. Apparently my classmates also love food. And just being able to have that shared experience together was incredible. And so definitely fascinated me as a kid was obviously food. Got to have your priorities. I love sports. I love spending time with people. I love learning about history. And I was always interested and always curious about something all the time. And so really making sure that you take the time to write down what fascinated you as a kid and make a list of those things so you can go, oh yeah, that's what my inner kid wants. That's what my inner kid enjoys, and being able to really recognize that. Next question I want you to ask is, what settings made you popular? All right, what settings made you popular? And as you think about this, the reason why I said what settings is because I love a video that called Adam Ruins Everything. He's a comedian who does these informational videos on YouTube. And what he says is that there's no such thing as extrovert and introvert, because everyone has knowledge and expertise about certain things. For example, if I go into a public speaking room, of course, I'll be able to talk about public speaking and leadership and presentations and how many slides you should have per presentation, how many bullet points per slide. But if you put me into an auto body conference about cars, I'll be like, yeah, go cars. and I won't know much about the subject. And so kind of writing down and making note of like, what are the certain settings, what are the certain environments and conferences and events that make you thrive, that make you go, yeah, I actually do enjoy speaking on this subject. I do enjoy talking to this group of people. I do enjoy spending time with this kind of community. And making note of that will be crucial for you to understand your passions. Next question. If money wasn't an issue, what would you work on? If money wasn't an issue, what would you work on? And the reason why this is so important is I have a quick story to help back this up. So the story goes is that a wealthy man goes on vacation in Mexico, and he comes across this fisherman. And the wealthy man says, oh, you're a fisherman. Are you enjoying fishing? And the guy goes, yes, I am. And the wealthy man goes, well, why don't you think about scaling up your fishing business? And the guy goes, oh, and then what? Oh, and then once you scale your fishing business, then you can be able to have employees. And the fisherman goes, oh, and then what? Oh, well, then once you have a bunch of employees, you can build a very successful, wealthy empire. And then what? And then after you build a successful empire of fishing businesses, then you can sell it off for all this money. And the fisherman goes, and then what? And then and the guy goes, and then you can go fish. And the reason why I love this story so much is because it's easy to forget why we're doing things in the first place. You know, what are the things that make you happy along the way? Like, you don't have to go build a multi-million-dollar business or company just to go fish in the first place. It's okay to do both. Or you know, I've also heard stories about people who they're very happy just working that 9 to 5 and getting their basic needs met just so they can go do that fishing. And so recognizing that we shouldn't have to, not shouldn't, but we must not hold off on the things we actually enjoy doing in order for us to make the sacrifices that need to happen. And so recognizing that everything can be monetized. I mean, I've literally saw a YouTube video about a woman getting paid $100,000 just to have people watch her sleep recently. Okay, so if someone can get paid to have people watch them sleep, you can get paid to whatever your passions are, whatever activities you enjoy doing, and just recognizing your end game and recognizing what is it that makes you happy. Next question to ponder: what vision and message are you willing to die for? All right, making sure that you're writing this down of what's the vision or message you're willing to die for. What is it that when you leave this earth in a physical sense, what do you want to be remembered as? What do you want people to say about you? What do you want to be said at your funeral, at your obituary? And recognizing what is that most important thing to you. And if you don't know yet, figure it out. It's a funny human thing that humans do, where we say, oh, I don't know. But if you ask yourself again that if you did know the answer, what that would look like, there's a good chance there's a little voice deep in the back of your mind, of your head, going, oh yeah, I guess this could work too, or this might be able to make it happen. And so really recognizing what is that vision, what is that message you're willing to die for. And then once you know that, it becomes so much easier to get out of bed each morning. It becomes so much easier to carry different presence, different energy about you, and say, this is what I stand for. This is who I am. These are my values. And people recognize that. People recognize that because a lot of people don't take the time to do what you're doing right now and saying, you know what? I do want to know my passion. I do want to know the vision and message that I stand for. I know how important it is, and I'm willing to die for it. Because once you recognize what you're willing to die for, everything becomes a lot more clear, and you become so much more confident in everything else you do. So hopefully you've been taking the time to write down what the vision, what the messages you're willing to die for, and write it down on a piece of paper and a document and a notepad, whatever kind of way you have. And then the final question is, who needs to hear this message? Where can you speak to them? All right. Who is it that, if it was a younger version of you and they had heard this message, it would have really helped them out? Whether it is someone who's in their 60s plus and they got through a divorce past the age of 60, what do you do now? Whether it's a 10-year-old who knows nothing about fitness or nutrition, whether it's a 30-year-old who's going through a 30-year-old life crisis thinking, what the heck am I doing with my life and my career? Who needs to hear that message? Who needs to hear about that vision that you have? And where can you speak to them? Where do those 10-year-olds hang out? Where do those 30-year-olds hang out? Where do those 60-year-olds hang out? And how can you make sure that they hear this one thing that you feel like you are put on this earth to go, how am I going to thrive today? How am I going to dominate? And how can I make it happen? So making sure you write down who needs to hear the message, where can you speak to them? And then once you have a sense of that, part 2 of this presentation, a little surprise of you, as I'm actually going to teach you how to actually get in front of those people, how to actually get speaking gigs to speak to them and present to them. Or if you absolutely hate public speaking, I suppose I can teach you how you can train someone else to speak for you. But of course, we want you to be the star. We want you to be the person who conveys this message. But as long as the message gets conveyed in some way whatsoever, that's the most important thing. So once you have your vision and your message, once you know who you want to speak to, let's talk about how to actually get booked. And really recognizing that in order to get booked in the first place, you have to know it does take luck sometimes, in the sense the universe can open up to you. And a quick little story is that there is actually a school on luck. Okay, there's a school on luck. And this psychologist and scientist discovered that people who told themselves they were lucky were actually more lucky, believe it or not. And it was the funniest thing that, for example, so he'd take one group of people who thought that they weren't lucky. He took another group of people who thought they were lucky. And one of the things that he'd do in the luck school is he would have them walk down a normal street. And on that normal street, he'd put a $20 bill just like somewhere on the ground, hidden in the bushes or something. And all the lucky people, sure enough, they would always see that $20 bill and go, oh, sweet, $20, and go and pick it up and then keep walking to the next assignment. All the unlucky people, they would all miss the $20 bill. And when the person would tell them, hey, did you see that $20 bill that was laying on the street right next to you? They would go, oh, sorry, I guess I wasn't lucky enough. So telling yourself that you're lucky in the first place does make a huge difference as you convey your passion and as you build your speaking business. So really recognizing that. And then once you get your lucky personality, really take the time to spend time with people who want to see you succeed, who want to be successful, who are passionate, who are enthusiastic, who do convey great energy out there, because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So even if you're a super passionate, contagious, enthusiastic person, if you're spending time with people who are going, oh man, I'm not lucky. Oh man, I don't know my passion. Oh man, I don't know my vision. It's only a matter of time before you get from here to here and you get brought down in some way or another. So really recognizing who's your pack, who's your tribe, who are those people who are going to constantly elevate you and support you and have your passion be contagious to them and have their passion be contagious to you. Get those set in place. Everything else is easy from there. All right. So speaking time, the one you're very excited for. So once you have a presentation about what you want to talk about, make sure you have a topic, a description, get a nice headshot, a professional photo of yourself, get a nice bio, and a speaking reel. And in case you don't have any of these, then really make sure to get them and figure it out and ask someone who does have the answer to this and just keep going. And I read a book recently called Straight Line Leadership. And one of the things they talk about is stop stopping. All right, stop stopping. Just because you don't have a speaking reel does not mean you should give up on your speaking opportunities to be able to convey your message and convey your story. Just because you don't have a perfectly written bio doesn't mean that you shouldn't figure out how to, whether it's ask for advice from a copywriter or have just a friend or family member just talk about you and have them write the bio for you. Just keep going and making it happen. And then finally, make sure you create a CRM where you want to speak. Believe it or not, it does take work to be able to have a speaking reel. So really recognize, or not a speaking reel, but a speaking portfolio of where you want to be talking, recognizing when you're reaching out to them, what time, what they said, and what the next steps are. And then finally, recognizing that fortune is in the follow-up. That'll put you ahead of so many other public speakers and presenters out there, is really understanding the importance of following up with people, reply to them again, make sure they got your previous messages, know when the timelines are, and that will be a huge difference maker. And then once you get booked to speak, leverage that presentation. You know, one of the biggest things I learned in the speaking world is that once you speak somewhere, you can speak everywhere else in that area, and you can leverage that opportunity with other opportunities. So for example, I used to be a speaking coordinator. I book other people's speaking gigs. And I got one of my first clients a speaking gig at one school. I think it was in Tennessee. And once she got that gig, I started calling all the other schools in the area saying, hey, my client is going to speak at this school at this time. She should, do you have opportunities for her to come speak at your school too? And they'd say, oh, well, yeah, if she's in the area, then yes. And I said, okay, here's her speaking fees. Do you have this kind of budget? And they'd say, yeah, we do actually. And I'd say, all right, great. And we close the deal. So make sure you follow up with people, leverage presentations, and there you go. Get your vision and your message out there. And then finally, because you're here today, I want to give you a special gift, the Confident Communicator Checklist. This will give you a great sense of how to make sure your presentations stick out with passion, making them contagious, having the audience pay attention. I took a little screenshot of half of the list to kind of give you a sneak peek of what you have in store for you. And all you have to do is contact me on andrewjosephweiss@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram at the Andrew J. Weiss. Just give me a DM, and I'd love to hear from you so I can send you that checklist. And I won't subscribe you to any emails right now, so as I don't have an email list, but just want to be able to serve you, give you what you need for that confident communicator checklist, and make sure you're on your way. So with that said, Wade, are there any questions? I want to make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat here.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Got a lot of amens and compliments and support for what you said. Definitely on, gosh, a lot of different things here. It's been so interesting for me to see. You and I have talked a lot about business, passions, life outside of work and whatnot, and I'm just really impressed for what you've accomplished already and what you're already doing and what you continue to do. So first of all, congratulations on that. I think that's awesome. I think a lot of the people that I work with are, when they're talking to me about, oh, well, he's a millennial. It's like, oh, okay. It's all right. Everybody sit down. We're gonna have the millennial talk. And and the thing is and obviously, like anything else, people either they found their passion, like any other generation. There's people that people associate with or don't or whatnot. I just love that you're going after what you're looking to go after, and more than anything, and you and I talked about this when we did the podcast interview, which is not out yet, but it'll be coming out, is just your decision just to continue, going forward and moving forward and growing, even though you mentioned, like in the interview, that you weren't as tall when you, not just when you were born, of course, that's obvious, but as as you grew up. And so I just think there's something to be said for that decision, that level of commitment, like you mentioned in the Martin Luther King quote, of just continuing to move forward, continuing to choose something, and go with that. So I'm, one of the things that I think maybe people don't always get to see is they don't get to see the backside. So right now, of course, as you know, Debbie's helping me with a lot of the back end stuff of what's going on now. I've worked with you with the Podfest part. You're a huge part of that with the Podfest. And that's where you see when people really actually implement. People live what they say they're going to do. And, probably if someone were to ask me, what would you say about Andrew? Andrew does what he says and then some. But with a level of passion and intentionality, and excitement and gratitude that is genuine and willing to serve. And so, for any people, people who are looking to see what you're up to, I definitely encourage them to do that. I'm looking forward to doing more stuff with you and connecting with you more as we work together more. So, man, thank you so much for sharing what you have. And again, everybody go into the community, connect. All the people are in here. They're making themselves available. They're making it possible for you to connect with them. So I really encourage you, as somebody who's been in the audience at times and has been on the stage, quote unquote, sometimes. We're not superheroes. We're not magical people. We're people who are doing a job. At your job, you're a hero at probably whatever you do. If there's something you need, something you want help with, just let us know. And we're happy to help. And like I said, Andrew's the real deal. So thank you so much for coming out to speak with us today, Andrew. I'll keep you posted as we go from there. And I really appreciate it, man.
Sounds good. Thank you, Wade. Good luck with your conference. Good seeing everyone. And yeah, have a fantastic day. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for showing me the ropes, man. I wouldn't be doing this without your help.
I got you. No problem.
All right. Take care, buddy.